We'd like to welcome you to the Healthcare Revolution podcast, where we empower you to take control of your health, restore your trust in the medical system, and achieve lasting wellness. I am your host, Brad Powell, Doctor of Physical Therapy and owner of an award-winning foundation physical therapy here in the Salt Lake Valley. Each episode, we dive into all things rehab prevention, overall health, bringing you expert insights from leaders across the healthcare fields. Please note, while we aim to provide with the best knowledge and advice, the opinions shared represent those of experts in the field and are not to be replaced with professional medical advice. So let's revolutionize healthcare and wellness together. Welcome to the podcast. Today I have with me Elijah Bowers, one of the best coaches in the Valley, in honestly, my opinion, the best CrossFit gym. It's the CrossFit gym that I go to. I've vetted out so many CrossFit gyms, so many gyms out in the Valley, been to over 50 gyms, and literally handpicked this one. And it's taken me years to find out the gym space that I thrive in. And I love this gym. I love what it represents. I love the trainers. I love the culture. And today we are talking about getting back to the gym. It's the new year. And we're setting goals. We're talking about what's next. We did a podcast for older adults, people that are in their 40s, 50s that want to get back to the gym. This is for our younger population. But every year we have millions of people going back to the gym in January. And then in February, all of a sudden, it starts to get crickets again. Right? We want to fill the gyms and we want to keep the gyms filled. So that is our goal. Because people are really not lazy. They just get hurt. They push themselves too hard. They don't know how to manage things. They get overwhelmed. They get burned out. Like, we want to give tips today, some of the top tips to keep you in the gym, how you're going to enter in, give you the tips to navigate that system, and then most importantly, how to stay there for good. So today's episode is all about training smarter, not necessarily harder, and what is actually going to help you stick to your goals. So welcome, Elijah Bowers, to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. That was quite an introduction. I'll try not to let you down. That was a lot, but yeah.
Well, I got some more here. So he is the manager of the CrossFit gym, CrossFit The Point, in Bluffdale, Utah. And like I said, in my opinion, the best CrossFit gym out there. And I've been to a lot of gyms and I love it there. And he has over 5 years of coaching experience, not just athletes, all different populations of people. So it comes with a very wide background, and just has a deep focus on intentional coaching, building a community, and long-term sustainability. So just real expert in this area. So I thought this would be a great collaboration to come together and talk about tips and all the tricks to keep people there, because he's seen a lot of people come and go over the years.
That's true.
What are kind of the big top reasons where people stop going to the gym?
I guess there's a bunch of different things that can derail somebody's progress, but the biggest thing that I probably notice is people who are either very like all or nothing at the beginning of the year, right? Like they're like, all right, it's January, I'm getting into this and I want to see results fast. And the big thing that like we try to install from the beginning is we've got to start to shift their identity. And it's something to where like we've got to start to convince you that you're the type of person that works out, not just that like sometimes people think like they're going to work out to burn off a certain amount of calories and it's all like a in and out situation. Like, what is this one workout going to do for me? And I mean, on the grand scale of things, it's just how do you become the type of person where this is normal? And CrossFit creates a class environment to where like when you're just around people to where working out at the 5 a.m. class is their norm, you start to eat more protein. You start to like, it just becomes a very natural thing. So, I mean, a lot of people also have like decision paralysis where they think like they need the best program ever. Otherwise it's not going to work. Like they'll get really into it. They got to optimize their protein. They got to start working out 7 days a week. They right now might find out they're eating 20 grams of protein and they're going to eat their body weight in grams of protein or whatever. Like they just take the whole playbook and just throw it out from day one. And the approach of like when we take people on is we try to set the foundation for like, let's figure out where you're at. Let's figure out where you want to go. And then let's slowly start to shift so it becomes your normal. Instead of, again, just like throwing the playbook out is what everybody does. Like, all right, this is me now. Chicken, rice, broccoli 3 meals a day. I do CrossFit twice a day. It doesn't even matter what type of fitness it is. It's like your step count, dude.
Yeah.
You get less than 1,000 steps a day.
I'll
You
never
go die
forget
in the
when,
gym, but if you don't walk, like there's so many things. But sorry, go ahead.
You're okay. I will never forget when I stepped into a CrossFit gym for the first time 8 years ago. I had a clinical instructor. I was out living in Idaho, and my instructor invited me to go to a CrossFit gym with him one morning. And I played football in high school. I raced motocross professionally, and I was quite the athlete, right? And I'd thrown a barbell around. But the coach, when I walked in, came and got to know me. She said, "Tell me your background. Tell me, what are your workouts been?" I'm like, "Well, I've just pretty much been running for the last year, and that's about it. Maybe some weights here and there. But I haven't lifted barbell since high school, right? And that was 10, 15 years ago." So she kind of assessed that, and she was so confident. I was so impressed with her. And back then, I was just a PT student, so I didn't have a lot of clinical background. But as I reflected, now looking back, she was so wise, because she said, "Why don't we just focus on moving the bar today?" Right? Everyone else is doing, 135. I can't even remember what we were doing. Cleans, jerks, something like that. But
and that's a tough day to walk into, the Olympic day on the first day.
Yeah, it was Olympic day on the first day.
Even though you'd done a little bit in the past.
In my mind, I'm like, I could throw him some 95 pounds is nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I was doing the bar the whole time, and I was so embarrassed. I was like looking around, like, these girls are doing all this weight more than me, and they are repping out. I'm trying to keep up with them. And the next day, I'm not even kidding you, I could not walk for a week. And I was only lifting 45-pound barbell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, if I would have thrown on the weight that I wanted, you could imagine, like, I couldn't walk for a whole 7 days. Like, I was, so it was a good lesson for me of just really good coaching. And, even knowing I was still sore for 7 days, that was a very wise coach to look at me and be like, "You are athletic.
Yeah.
But you haven't done these movements in a long time."
It's funny that you mentioned that, because, I have a very similar story too. And like, where I was at is I worry about the people, honestly, more who have a little bit of an athletic background, because what comes with that is a little bit of an ego of like what they maybe used to be able to do, what else is going on. Usually when people have no exercise background, it's easier to walk over that person and be like, "Hey, just the PVC pipe today. We're going to get this down, whatever." But the guys that come in, like if I get somebody who had some sort of a sport background, they want to get into it really quick, and they remember what they used to be able to do. And like, for me, what happened was, I was a current college football player, and I went, a friend invited me to a CrossFit class, right? I had done squats before, I had ran before, but football is a sport that's a sprint sport. You go, relax. It's not a longer aerobic sport, right? And so my body was nowhere near ready for this workout, but the workout was up on the board. The coach probably tried to tell me, and I had an ego about it. I didn't listen. I was like, "No, I can do that. We'll do that for sure." And so I did it. Afterwards, I was so spent. I'm like, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I remember distinctly, and I'll tell like new like prospective members this story to kind of like level out the playing field of like, I'm not discouraging you of anything. This is what happened to me first. I didn't get hurt. I was fine. But I was so spent. I remember I went to a Denny's afterwards by myself because I was like, I'm so hungry. And I'm just like blankly staring at the booth. And the waitress comes by and she's like, "What can I get you?" And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not okay." And then, dude, I didn't try CrossFit. I just
did a 30-minute workout.
So I didn't try CrossFit again for 3 years after that. I was like, I have football. Yeah. I'm fine. I'm not going to do that. I honestly just hid from it. I was like, that was too much. And that's not to scare anybody away from what we do. It was because there was good coaching present and I didn't listen, and I tried to do something outside of what I was capable of.
And you think it took you away from that space that you now love
for a while. Yeah. And now I've been doing it for quite a while, and I eat, sleep, and breathe it, and it's completely changed my life. And the second time that I came around was when football was over, and I was like, all right, let me give this thing a better try and actually listen from the beginning. Scale workouts. I mean, as a 20-year-old guy, you're like, I'm not scaling. I'm not modifying this. And it's like, no, you're going to change it, because some of these other things, like, and it's about finding, like, a workout has an intent, right? It has, like, in CrossFit, we'll say, like, the stimulus. Like, what is it? Are we trying to go fast today? Are we trying to go heavy? What is the intent? And then there's my goals, And then it's about talking to the coach and finding the middle part of that Venn diagram of like, here's my goals, here's the intent of the workout, here's how we can get the best out of that today. And how CrossFit, like when it's done well, is it's supposed to be mechanics, consistency, and then intensity in that order. You mix up the order is when somebody has some quarrel that like CrossFit is dangerous or something. It's like, well, did you go intensity, mechanics, and then consistency? Did you do it a lot wrong, really intense? Or did you get the mechanics down, do it consistently, and then add the intensity when you're ready for it? It's like, that's when it's done right.
And a lot of people understand that as very similar is learn the movement, perfect the movement, load the movement.
That's it, right? To make it simple.
And the thing is, like, so many people want to just throw a barbell and some 45s on, and they haven't really learned the movement yet. You're doing these Olympic weightlifting movements that you take years to develop and to perfect, but you're throwing on load way too soon, and the mechanics just go out the window, right?
Yeah,
but
for sure.
if we can learn the movement first, like this is the steps of the movement, and you get that down, get that muscle memory, then we perfect it, and then gradually add load to it. It's a world of difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me what separates the people that go in January and then the ones that actually stay, the ones that go in January and leave, but the ones that actually stay. What are the big things that are different about those two types of people?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it goes back to what I mentioned before of like the people who make it part of their identity. And the thing is, like with CrossFit, like people will joke that like it's a cult or whatever. It's like, okay, it's a community of people with like-minded habits that show up. It's funny, I walked in the gym today, the skis were like in a circle, and I was like, okay, now this looks like a ritual. I was like, what's going on? But like the people who make it,
I just want to know who was in that circle.
Yeah. when I walk in I have an example of some people in mind from last year. Like somebody who signs up in the first week, they've got we were selling headbands at the time. This is at the last location I was at. This person's got the headband on. I'm like,
oh, heck yeah.
This person's in. I'm like, this person is like,
they bought a
their
headband,
identity, like they're liking CrossFit memes on their Instagram, their whatever. But like, and it's also the self-talk and coaches that are good enough to reframe the self-talk of like, you'll hear somebody like they see a cardio workout up on the board, right? Primarily like CrossFit's it's supposed to be strength and conditioning. And our gyms always prioritize strength, but conditioning is a priority as well. Somebody who let's go back to me. I came from a strength background. You know, I could squat 400 pounds when I started, but I couldn't run a mile without stopping, right? So I was much more on the strength side of things. I might walk up and see a cardio workout and be like, I'm bad at cardio. I'm bad at cardio is a fixed mindset. It means that just like, this is my state. This is who I am. I don't have the ability to change it. I am bad at cardio, which just isn't true. It's just, what did I do? What have I done? Well, I lifted weights for a decade. You wouldn't catch me out on a jog, right? So like anytime I hear somebody say that, I might be like, shift it to be like, cardio might not be a strength right now, but where could we be in 6 months if we do this today? And it's like, and I might not like be in the moment, that textbook, you know, you have rapport with people, you might be a little more smooth with how you say it or whatever, but just like shifting from like, it's not a fixed thing. Like if you look at this one day and I got somebody who's 300 pounds where like the workout says 1,000-meter run. I'm not sending them out on a 1,000-meter run. I'm going to send them out on a couple 400-meter jogs with a walk back or whatever it is. But I'm like, this is where you're at. This is how we can improve. And then they start to see like how much that can shift over time, I guess. So like just getting in those people's heads and like telling them the stories at the beginning of like how you can, again, just shift this into who you are. So the people who show up, they're the people who are at the gym Christmas party, the people who wear the shirts, the people like, and those are such small
certain
things,
level of commitment, right? It's like,
they just start to like tell
committed
themselves
to this
like,
gym. I bought a shirt.
It's such a small
I'm
thing.
Owning it.
They're
right?
wearing it.
Mine.
Like they're at Thanksgiving. Somebody's like, "What is that shirt?" They're like, I do CrossFit now. It's like, and that like doesn't even matter
like,
that much.
How do you know
but,
you do CrossFit?
I mean,
they're going to tell you.
They're going to tell you. Yeah, they're going to tell you about it. And it's like, well, what is CrossFit? It's just strength and conditioning. All adults need to be strong and they need to be conditioned. Why? Because for general life, you want to be able to help your family move, and then you want to be able to toss the grandkids around and go for a hike. Like that's
so the biggest thing I'm hearing from you is commitment and mindset. Those are the big two things that you feel like separates people that, you know, come and go versus they're actually staying long term.
Yeah, without a doubt.
The reason I love CrossFit personally, in my opinion, being a physical therapist, it is one of the most well-rounded workouts out there, right? It has a bad rap for many reasons, But ultimately, like you have different categories of fitness, right? But you have bodybuilders. They're good at strength, but most of them are very deconditioned.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just generally speaking. That's not say all of them, right? You can go through each sport and figure out, okay, what are you lacking?
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, I would say the only other sport that I would compare to CrossFit is probably a gymnast, where they're super powerful, super conditioned, and super flexible. If there's anything I would add to CrossFit, it would be just do the accessory work, but no one does the accessory, because the accessory work is the flexibility. And there's not enough, in my opinion, of the targeted hamstring work and for sprinting, right? But other than that, it's got everything, right? Like, I'm not a runner, but in the CrossFit world, I'm a runner. You know, like and there's different colors, you know, in CrossFit. I'm like a black and red and running. But like I'm like a yellow in heavy lifting, right? So it's really interesting. But at the end of the day, what I love about CrossFit is it takes your lowest score, because that's your weakest link. You know, it's like I'm probably a blue now, right? With with weightlifting, and you know, there's yellow. How are the colors? Yellow, orange, blue, purple. Do you use those?
We don't even use them anymore. We haven't done that in a minute, but the concept still stays to where it's the sport of weaknesses, right? It's the sport of pointing out, like, where is their growth,
where's your
for you to
vulnerability,
become a well-rounded human. Of like, it doesn't have to be laid out in a color system, but the colors did make it like clear of where are you lacking, right? And it's perfect to where, like, what made me like want to go back and give CrossFit a better shot was, as soon as I was done with football, I was like, gosh, what do I want to do? I've got all this athletic energy. For one, I'm going to the gym doing curls in the mirror. I'm depressed. I haven't spoken. You know, you go to the mirror, you got like headphones on. Nobody talks to each other. When I was playing a sport, like, your team, you're close to them, right? So when it was like, what do I want to do? It was kind of a two-way go, where I was like, do I want to get into bodybuilding, or do I maybe want to try this CrossFit thing? And what made me eventually go try the class was like, yes, again, the example of like, okay, I could squat 400 pounds, but I didn't like hiking because I was super out of breath. And I'm like, I'm walking up a flight of stairs.
And of course,
like,
you're not going to like the things you're not good at. Right?
For sure. And like,
I hate running because I'm not good at it, right? Right now, mine double unders, right? So if you ever see me avoiding double unders, make sure you give me a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something, right?
Yeah, it's like that's your weak point. Of course, you're not going to want to do it.
Yeah, and it depends, like, what is somebody's goal? We're trying to make you a more capable human. Like, at the end of the day, that is the goal. And like, to where I love now, like, if one of my friends was like, hey dude, we're doing a 5K tomorrow for this charity that's super important to me. Before I started CrossFit, I would have hid from that. Oh, I'm not doing a 5K. What are you talking about? Like, I can squat. You want to go do that? Like, that's all I could do, right? To where, like, now I have the freedom to where, like, if that opportunity pops up, I'll go do it. If somebody was like, you want to run a marathon tomorrow? I could do it. Not winning, but I'll do it and I'll be okay. To where I'm strong, I have the aerobic capacity, I've got some skills that were fun to work on. And like, again, it just creates more well-rounded humans that are just so better overall.
You know, one of my buddies called me up this summer and he's like, dude, you want to go to the Spartan a couple weeks? I'm like, sure.
Yeah. Right? Like that freedom, you don't realize, like, I guess sometimes you're too close to realize like how gold that is. Like, for so many other people, like, we're literally giving you more access to more life because of what you can say yes to.
Absolutely.
Like, you could say no because you don't want to. But before, I was saying no because I was like, I literally don't know if I can. Yeah, this might be embarrassing.
Group,
like,
we got to the rope climbs. No one could do rope climbs.
No, I did the Spartan race a couple years ago too.
I ended up doing it 4 times for my team. I'm like, I'll do it for you guys so we can count it, right?
Have you seen that show, the Physical 100 on Netflix? So it's based out of, I think it's Korea, where they get like 100 people, 100 athletes from so many different sports that are going on. And then they put them through a bunch of physical tests. The secret is, every time you do that, you're basically doing CrossFit. Why? Because CrossFit can be anything. It's constantly varied functional movements, can be anything. So they had a rope climb test in there. It was like, stay on the rope for as long as you can. Okay, the CrossFitter knows how to clamp their foot. They're on the rope for forever. Yeah, an average person might be like, why do I need to know how to climb a rope? We always joke, like, might be in the woods and there's a bear chasing you. You gotta get on the rope. But just like it's fun and it's upper body strength and it's coordination and different things. But like
a rope swing, like with your kids.
Yeah,
like, I've been on ropes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Ninja Warrior gym by my house. I'm only one of the few people who could do some of the things because of that or whatever.
I will say that grip strengths. I mean, with rope climbs, you're technically using most of your feet, right?
If you do it right, yes. On your first day, no. But
if you are using more hands, grip strength is directly correlated with mortality.
Yeah, so, I've seen those.
It's this new vital sign where we're measuring. When you measure blood pressure, heart rate, all of those vital signs, we're now measuring grip strength because it's directly connected to you living. Right? The weaker the strength you have, the more likely you are to die. So it's now one of the best vital signs for prolonged health and sustainability.
Yeah, that's wild. No, I've definitely heard that. But that show, basically usually the CrossFit athletes win every time. Or like another show that my brain thinks of, The Rock had a game show a while back that was like similar thing. They would go normal people versus professional athletes.
Yeah.
The secret was their normal people were CrossFit Games athletes. That wasn't fair at all. So every time you keep having a CrossFit Games athlete beating an NFL O lineman, it was like, yeah, the NFL O lineman's job was
pushing
this. The CrossFitter's job was move a lot of stuff, do it fast, be strong, have cardio, all in one person. Like it's, again, just more capable humans. But
I love it. Tell me, so I want to discuss these few points here. So these are the most common mistakes that people make when returning to the gym. So I'll just list these, then we'll discuss them.
Sounds good.
And just let me know what comes to mind as after I read the list. So first one, doing too much way too soon. We already kind of addressed that. Chasing soreness instead of progress. You see that in the gym. Comparing themselves to past version of themselves, and then ignoring movement quality in favor of intensity. And then social media driven expectations. What are kind of as I read those, what are your first thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, as you're reading them, like I see people in my head as like it happens, right? Like it's soreness is I'm sure with knowing like physiology, like just because you're not sore doesn't mean a workout wasn't effective. Just because you are sore doesn't mean it was effective. It's lactic acid in the body. It's a tell. Like, it does feel good after you do a chest workout that something like that is going on. But it's not everything, I guess. And like, it again goes back to like the identity and the habits. Like, have you read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear? I mean,
excellent book.
All the principles that we teach are straight from that book. It's like the Bible of what we do. And it's the story that I tell a lot of people when I first bring them on is they have a story in that book about, and I might mess up the details a little bit, but somebody who wanted to lose, I think it was 100 pounds. And so these are the steps that they took. First thing was they picked a gym that was on their way home from work to reduce some friction. They're going to have to drive past it, right? So something that you have some connection to that'll make it easier. The second thing they did is realizing the first, like this sounds so cliche, but like the biggest weight you have to lift initially is walking through that door. Because it's super overwhelming to even walk into a gym for most people.
Absolutely.
And so then the third thing they did was they set a goal that was so attainable that there was no way they could look themselves in the mirror and not do it. That person's goal was they were going to show up for 5 minutes a day. They were going to go to the gym. They were going to, what can you get done in 5 minutes? Like you could do a half a set of curls and leave. You're not going to be sore the next day. Somebody could look at your workout and laugh at you. Somebody could tell you that this was worthless, like whatever. And you can look at that workout, like from a trainer's perspective, I'm not going to tell you from a physical adaptation, you're getting a ton out of that. But the first thing you've got to adapt is up top. That's it, right? So that person did that for quite a while. 5 minutes, then they committed to 10 minutes. Then they committed to 30 minutes. Then you can see the trend, you know where I'm going. Eventually that person loses all the weight because they focused on the habit of showing up to the gym, not necessarily like, again, are you sore the next day or whatever it is? And you could flip that on its head. Let's take somebody else who's in the same scenario that shows up. They see a bunch of workouts on Instagram. They go in, don't really know what they're doing, but they just get after it. They're moving, they're trying stuff. Nice, right? They're super sore the next day. Again, they're eating chicken, rice, and broccoli every day. And that person probably after 3 weeks is like, this is way too much, and they completely fall off. You compare those two people side to side. It's almost like the tortoise and the hare story that we all know. Like one person's like going super hard. They got a way better workout the first day, right? And then 3 weeks down the road, they're gone. Versus the other person who like the empty bar when people show up to class or whatever it is, like check your ego at the door. We're going to show you how to move. We're going to teach you how to eat, and we're going to make you the type of person where this is normal.
I love that. Yeah. Go over those habits again. Just list them one by one so everyone can hear those one more time.
That the person did?
Uh-huh.
So choose a low friction habit to start at the beginning.
Just so everyone knows, just to refresh this is from the book Atomic Habits, and it's the habits or what you need to do, the steps to create actually long-term habits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, first thing is lay out a routine with a low amount of friction. And this is where you have to be really honest with yourself for like real friction points. The gym that is 20 minutes out of your direction on your way home from work is already a friction point. It is. Or like whatever, like be really honest and like certain things bother certain people more. Maybe that drive isn't an issue for you. Maybe it is, and just be transparent with yourself. So set a low bar habit at the beginning. Low bar. Okay. Then once you've got that, you take that and you, I guess, continue to apply that to different things. So for him, the first thing that I said was the gym that was on the way home from work. Then the next place he set the low bar was he was committing to 5 minutes a day after work. And then you take that habit. Basically, in the book, what he does is he creates systems and processes, he optimizes them, and then he creates another one. And another like little technique that he does as well is habit stacking is what he calls it. So like you take something you already know you're going to do, and then you stack it with something that you kind of don't want to do. And then you go from there. So he knows he's going to go to work. He's got to feed his family. He's going to work. There's no question, right? So then he takes that and he stacks that with something he doesn't really want to do, which is going to the gym. And then he holds himself accountable to that. Maybe you create a tracker. I think in his book he has something, but you can create whatever system you want. Maybe it's you tell your spouse, like, I am committing to going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I've set the intention. Hold me accountable to this. And so you stack it up with like, did you walk into the gym, honey? Yeah. Did you turn around and walk out? That's fine. You walked into the gym. What was the bar?
You did the
like,
habit.
You walked by. In CrossFit, it's way better because when you walk in, I know you by name. I'm going to text you if you don't come. You set an appointment where you sign in and then we sign you into class. Like there's so many systems to where like it makes it so much easier to where we are your accountability partner. But heck, if somebody was just going to a commercial gym, if they walked in and beeped their thing and turned around and walked out, but your goal was that you made it through the door, right? So like it sounds like so simple, but I literally like mean that 100%. Like I would be
simplicity is really everything. You know, the more simple that you make these routines, because the idea is habit stacking, right? Like you're creating small wins for yourself. Yeah. You know, I'm doing a challenge in January. You've probably heard of it, 75 Hard.
Oh, nice. A
lot of the military does this challenge. But my biggest challenge is drinking water. You know, it's
not nothing.
Part of it is you do 45-minute workout twice a day. Yep. And one of them's outside. I'm like, no problem. I can easily do that every day. But drinking a gallon of water is like literally changing my life. Mm-hmm. So right now, I've been working on this for a month because I know how hard drinking water is for me. Yeah. I literally have created a water bottle in every space that I go. Yeah. I think it's like I even have two right next to me right now. I have one out on that counter. I have one in my car, one at my other clinic.
That's that other strategy he talks about, making it so you have to see
set it down, right?
Yeah.
But I struggle with drinking water so much, and I've known that for so long. That is going to be literally my hardest habit. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm going to start this in January. So I've started these little habits almost 2 months before.
Build that momentum going forward.
Because I'm not going to be able to maintain that unless I've created a lot of these habits along the way, because I got to stay consistent. Because with 75 Hard, if you miss one day, you have to start over. Mm-hmm. And your goal is to do these 75 days of absolute consistency with all the things. There's nutrition, there's 2 45-minute workouts, drinking water, right? But you got to do it for 75 days straight. But the challenge is just deciding to do it and sticking with it.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And telling yourself you're going to accomplish a goal, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And that's what I was kind of saying too, of like, you have to take that honest look at yourself of like, which one is going to be the hardest thing for me? What do I really know is going to be more of an issue? And if once you look at that, like the book Atomic Habits, it kind of sounds ironic, but like even for me, digesting that information, I hate reading. I always have. And that's kind of a fixed mindset. I'm not saying I'm not good at reading. I don't like it. That's objective. I've never have. I need to get this information in. I want to. So what can I do? All right. Well, I know I'm going to go to work. So I'm going to commit to every time I'm driving to work, I listen to it on tape, right? I got the physical copy so I could reference it or whatever. I could have told myself when I wanted to get that book down, like, no, you have to sit down and read it. And it could have been done, right? But I was like, I've got all these different things going on. What do I want to focus on? And where can I level with myself to where I know I'll actually do it? And so it's like, look yourself in the mirror and know yourself. Have a little bit of mercy with yourself and decide what's fair. You know, I mean, this is a fair habit for me to work on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the work into it and get this done. And so just knowing yourself, and it's something as silly as somebody who loves books, that's not even a problem. They're like, oh dude, I'll read all day.
Yeah.
Great. You have a routine. Maybe you sit down and read every night. Like that's not an issue for them. So I think it's like listing out like certain people have things that are just easier or whatever it is. Like I know so many people at my gym right now that like, dude, the gym habit locked in. I will see them 7 days a week. They go home, they eat poorly, and then they don't move. And then the results aren't changing that much, right? Even if they do the hardest workout during that hour.
It's like 1 out of 24 hours you do the math
100%
on
of
the
like your
percentage.
metabolism burning and all these different things. And so it's like those people, and this is where we try to have like goal setting sessions and we're working on it with them, but like those people need to look at themselves and be like, honestly, if they took 3 days out of the week and they went on a walk and they prioritized protein on those 3 days and drank their water, those 3 things, and they didn't go to the gym on those 3 days, it might net be a positive thing because that person has their weaknesses. Like the gym is easy. They're fine with that. They'll come, they see their friends, they've got it down. Now, somebody might be on the other end of that spectrum. They're eating a decent amount of protein. They're walking enough. They're drinking water. Can't get them to go to the gym, right? It's just knowing yourself, I guess. And that's what you're talking about with the water thing.
Yeah. It's just, picking the things that you struggle with the most and just start small. Just pick one little thing, and I'm still struggling drinking water. I know I'm going to get there. And I set all these habits to where it's consistently in my face, and I know, and I make it, taste good. I try different things, and it's not that I don't like it. It's purely just reminding myself to do it. Right.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, having some mercy and giving yourself credit, where I can't remember if this was in that book, but there was somewhere that I read that they did like brainwave studies on like, when like people have the cups out and they like stack the cups and they do stuff, right? They did studies on like the people who are really good at it, like the professionals. And then they did studies on the people who are like just learning, right? Who is working harder? Well, the other person did it 10 times faster because they're the pro, right? But their brain is like chilling because they've done it a million times. It's low friction. They're good at it. You ask
it's complete habit.
LeBron James playing basketball, he's
energy.
Fine. Right? Like, but then you ask that same person to do something outside of their comfort zone, your brain is working so hard. And like, you do have somewhat of a finite amount of mental energy. So it's, knowing yourself and then choosing your battles, holding yourself accountable to that battle. But like, what is the battle going to be? For me, like, dude, I could do Murph 3 times in a row without stopping. The amount of stress it would take on me. Not saying it's nothing.
And
if you made me sit down,
if you're listening to this, what a
what
Murph
the heck
is.
Murph is?
Yeah, explain what a Murph is.
You start off with a mile run, then after that it's 100
pull-ups,
200 push-ups, 300 air squats, mile run. Anyways, one of the like harder workouts. Notoriously, people come in and do it for their first day of CrossFit, which is
imagine doing 200 push-ups.
I help everybody
squats.
Scale it, but all I'm saying is I was just using an example of notoriously difficult longer workout, right?
Yeah.
I am not kidding. I have done Murph twice, back to back once.
And most people do it with weighted vests too.
I've done it with a vest multiple times. I would rather do that than sit me down and make me read 3 books.
Yeah.
I just don't like sitting down to read. I'm a high energy person that has to do a lot of things. And so it's like, it's funny, like just think about those scenarios in your life where like you give yourself credit. And like, that's where like I respect all the people that I work with, because most of the time I'm dealing with somebody who might have 100 pounds they need to lose, but they are phenomenal in their job. They're a great parent. Their financial security is set up or whatever it is to where like everybody's an expert in some area. And this is just this person's area that they need help with. And so that's why like I'm so humble with everybody that I help, because like, this is one thing that I'm good at. I'm glad I am. There's some other stuff I'm really bad at. Yeah. And I can't wait to ask you about what you're good at and learn about it or whatever it is. Like everybody has like the unfortunate thing about weight, and it also helps because you're held accountable to it, but like everybody gets to see it, right? You're going out and like it's held on you. You don't have to walk out and nobody knows what your bank account looks like. Nobody knows what your debt looks like or whatever it is. But everybody has those deficits. So like the environment we create in the gym is like everybody's got something that they're working on and we're all in it together.
Yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
fine.
So let's talk about, what are the things that typically get people injured? And, we can talk about scaling, but I really want to offer some scaling tips. I think, your world, you're really good at figuring out how do we take the same workout and make it different for you and customize, right? What are some of the big reasons people get hurt? We talked about load, too much load too soon, maybe too many repetitions too soon, forms not looking great. Maybe they even have some biomechanical constraints, right? Maybe stiff upper back where it's hard for them to front squat, hard for them to clean, right? Is there any other reasons you'd throw out there for people getting hurt?
I mean, those are the obvious ones. Like, yeah, that's very clear. I guess it also depends, like, obviously, where is somebody at with their tolerance to exercise? Like between the ears is also a thing. Like, let's take the first time I did CrossFit. I was mentally injured. I was not physically injured. I was like, hey man, that was the hardest thing. I don't want to do that again.
Your pride was hurt.
Sure. Yeah, that was definitely in the consideration too. So it's like, the thing is with CrossFit, the principle that we follow is like everybody's needs vary by degree, not necessarily by kind. So like we can use, shout out to Beverly. I love Beverly. She is 70 years young and she needs to be strong just like I need to be strong. Now, the degree in which that is true may be different, right? She needs to be strong enough to carry around her grandkids.
And this is a gal that's, like you said, 70 plus years old. She's at the gym at 5:30 every morning. I believe 6 days a week at least.
Yeah, she always wins our attendance club. She hates attention. She's gonna be mad. I'm mentioning
And what I love
name,
about her, she always is scaling her own thing. And maybe she's asked so many times where she has become a master at her own scaling. But she's doing the same workout. Like we might be doing 24-inch box jumps over here, and she's got her pad that's 10 inches and she's doing step ups, right? Yep. But she literally does the exact same workout, but a modification of it. And she's 70 plus years old and she's hanging out with a bunch of 20-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when, again, CrossFit is done right, is when you can build athletes that understand that, to where, again, the coach can explain the workout, they can understand their needs, their goals, and then help that intersect with the workout. So like I might tell Beverly like, hey, so the intent of this workout is for the bike to be fast so you can have high power output. It's a sprint for you. And then it's meant to this weight to be heavy for you. So that might be like the bike is prescribing 15 calories. I'm going to walk over to her. I know about her cycle rate. I'm going to be like, hey, I think we're going to set a calorie goal of 6 calories or about 45 seconds. This is my estimation as a coach. So then you can take that to where you get the same intent of the day based on where your tolerance and your needs are at. But again, it's like when I have conversations with those athletes, I try to start to place it into their head, and so they can start to do that on their own. So at some point,
you just call Beverly an athlete.
She is, and that's identity, right? Yeah. It's from the moment you walk into the gym, like we start calling people athletes. Like she's a 70-year-old athlete. Yeah. It makes you feel good. It's kind of a badge of honor. When I was a kid, the first time I was referred to as an athlete, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm different. And it's like
a title.
Yeah, like when you start to shift your mindset like that, it like she's an athlete that's going to scale this workout to her capabilities, her needs and her goals. Like that's what I always think about when I'm helping somebody with the workout is like, how can I get them the intent of the workout, but not at expense of their current tolerance and their goals? And it's a balancing act. You don't always get perfect with it, but the more you do it and the more they understand, the closer you get to where like most days, honestly, she doesn't need that much help other than occasionally if I notice something, if a workout's it's really different. But for the most part, she can start to extract like, okay, this is what the intent is and where we go. And it's something that we've started to implement at the point. I think, have you met Ben that comes at like 7:30? So Ben's awesome. Ben was the first Foundations client that we took through at CrossFit The Point, because we also didn't mention CrossFit The Point. Like I'm the new manager since May there. So we started to put some different systems in. what we do, he was the first Foundations client that we had there. Foundations is we do 5 one-on-one sessions before the class environment. There's times where like, yes, we can put people in the class environment, but it's always done better if we can work with them first before we put them in to now do it with 20 people and do it fast, right? And so what we did with Ben is we shifted a lot with his identity. We take these sessions and I'm having those talks and I'm reframing everything, but we taught him all the compound lifts, your squat, your deadlift, all those good things. How those sessions work is we teach, then we put you in to a workout. I show you how it would be. I show you how you would scale it. I tell you why. And then you start to see the examples to where now like Ben, just like Beverly, can look at a workout, understand the intent, have a conversation with the coach, have some ideas that maybe they come to the coach. And he's been one of the most consistent members we've had.
I think that is such a key point to really, point out here is use the coach. There's a reason why they're a coach. They've been doing it for who knows how long, sometimes a long time, right? And they've at least mastered the movements, right? And sometimes it just takes, you're in a group of 25 people, you show up 5 minutes early, or when they do their brief after the brief, like, hey, this is my first time. Can you give me a few pointers? Would you suggest doing anything different? This is my background. But having courage to go have that conversation, no coach is going to turn your way or make fun of you. They are there to help you stay. And if you listen to what they say, they're really going to help you. Yeah,
without a doubt. And the more like you position yourself as somebody who is very receptive to that, the more you'll get. Because I mean, like, there's some athletes that I deal with that have been doing it for a while who aren't as receptive to coaching, and that's their own lane. That's okay. But as a coach, the more somebody comes up and is like, hey, would you look at my form on this? So I was thinking about scaling the workout like this. What do you think? The more somebody comes, like, I try to distribute my attention as evenly as I can. But the people who are a little bit more on the offense of talking to me and the people who I know are a little bit newer, it instantly gets the coach to think a lot more about that, because it is a coach distributing their attention between different people. But again, that's why we do that onboarding process, because it like sets them up to where they're used to having that conversation, versus like sometimes
that you guys build that out into the
sometimes
structure.
If somebody if you jump into the group class atmosphere without that, it is possible some people didn't have foundations for it to go okay. But there's also times that you can talk to somebody who had an experience like my first time to where we never saw him again, And I wouldn't blame that on the coach at all. But just we didn't have like the class environment can sometimes be a little bit fast paced, and having those conversations beforehand to where like, again, we do 4 one-on-one sessions. And then the 5th one is kind of a bridge session where I tell the coach, hey, I'm coming to class with Ben. We're going to make sure that everything goes smoothly the first time. To where like, since that, I think Ben's down 30 pounds. He's awesome. Made our attendance club every single month. Attendance club is 20 classes in the month. We give you a neat sticker. It's crazy how many adults just love a sticker. To have their water bottles filled with stickers. But he hasn't missed. We had also like one nutrition talk. From that talk he went through, he's been prioritizing protein, drinking half his body weight in ounces of water, and every day after class he gets his steps in. And like, just from that, I guarantee if like he would have just hopped in and tried that one class from somebody who didn't have an exercise background as much, it may not have gone. I know it wouldn't have gone as well.
And you think about the lifestyle change that it's creating for him. It's sustainable. It's long term. It's something he's gonna do for life, and it's changing his life.
Yeah, and it's a ripple effect too, and that's what really gets me excited about it, is like, from his thing, he recommends his coworker who now just did the same thing. We've had another guy named Chris who's been coming that he works with, right? Because Ben walks in the office and Chris is like, man, what are you doing? Like, you were looking great.
Good.
You used to like grunt when you got out of your chair, and now you're moving up and down fast. Like, and so like that just like it gets out, right? And it's contagious for the better.
And that, which brings me to my next thought is, what does a community do for... And I want to preface it with my story, but what does a community do for a gym member? I came to CrossFit at the point with no intentions of making any friends. I'm just like, I'm here for a workout, doing my thing, I'm out. I wanted no one to know I was a PT. I literally picked Bluffdale because I could throw a rock at it from my house. I used to live in Bluffdale right across the street. It was just very convenient for me. I didn't know anyone, but literally just kept to myself in the corner, didn't really talk to anyone. Now I could never stop because I got so many freaking friends there, and they'd be texting me like, "Where the heck you at?" Right?
Mhm.
And it just started with one guy, right? Justin, my buddy Justin. He's an older
Justin.
dude too, and he's probably in his, what is he, 50s?
Yeah, he does like 100 sit-ups a day.
Yeah, like,
yeah, he's such a
he
nice
whoops
guy.
me, but like, just such a good dude. We've just connected. We always go at the same time, and he looks after me, right? His wife makes all of our gear for our company and does our whole company store, and she goes there every morning too, Melissa. But long story short, like, I moved to Lehigh, which is now, you know, a 12-minute drive, but I would never stop going there because I went initially because it was an awesome gym. I tried all these other gyms. I'm like, landed on this one. This is where I'm staying, right? But now I stay because of these people. Yeah. But tell me what you've seen over the years of this community and what it does for people, and what advice you'd have for everyone if maybe they don't even want to make friends like I do.
I mean, I guess what I would say is, I think something we underestimate is how normal having a good community is. Yeah. So, like, let's think about our life from the beginning, right? Like, so you start off with school. You get friends in school, maybe you play a sport. You've always got people around you. You've always got something to where like-minded individuals are near you for the most part. It's easy to make friends in school, right? And then we become adults, and it gets a lot harder. Like, how do you walk up to another adult man and you're like, hey, do you want to be friends? That's super awkward. We're not doing that. You know what I mean? So, like, it just makes it very difficult to find like-minded people. And I think, like, it makes, like, again, the joke of where people say, like, it's a cult or whatever it is, like, it's being around people is normal. One of the worst things you can do to a person, there's a reason in prison, solitary confinement is like the worst thing you can do to somebody else. Like, we're meant to be connected with other people. And for a lot of people, like, they go to work, maybe they don't like their coworkers that much. Then they go to their family, and that's about it. And their family's awesome. But I also know, I won't even say her name because I don't want to shout her out. She'll be embarrassed. But, like, I know this lady at the gym that I try to get her husband to come, and she's like, I need some time. She's like, I need somewhere else to like connect with other adults, right? And so, like, for me too, a big draw, and I guess why, like, I've stuck with it, and it's my job now, is like, again, I had football. I always had a community. My family growing up, I moved around a ton. Like I said, I've lived in Taylorsville. I've lived in Pleasant Grove. I've lived in West Valley. I've been all over the state. And my childhood was tough with all that. It was a lot of instability. But what I always had was I had football. And football gave me an instant friend group. Wherever I went,
essentially becomes an identity. Right?
Oh, 100%, which was also tough when I got out of football, right? Of like what I do. But I always had this to lean on. I always had friends or like from this one thing, right? And so, but then all of a sudden I stopped that. And this is where I go back to, like, I'm doing curls at the gym by myself. Like, that community now left. And I think, like, sometimes you could think, like, you're an adult, you're fine, like, whatever. And it's like, or is it actually that we grew up in tribes and it's very normal to want to be around other people and to get to go to the 5 a.m. class and to have that friend like Justin, like, that hour is like, we try to provide the best hour of their day, right? Like, there's so much value in that I think is like, we're conditioned sometimes to think like, all right, now you're an adult, you probably never see your friends again because your friend lives 3 cities away and his kid's playing sports and you can't quite ever see him. And like, but if you always go to the 5 a.m. class, you're going to get an hour where you get to connect with them every single day. And you're also doing a habit that's going to make you both healthy.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I think about like every connection that I've made at the gym. It was so gradual. Like, I've been there for, I think, 3 years now. And, you know, there was people, like, we just kind of walked by each other for a year. And then all of a sudden we were by each other in a workout doing something freaking hard.
That always bonds you. Yeah, that was the thing with football as well.
I give him a fist pound. And then now we're like first name basis, like, hey, what you doing this weekend? But I think it's okay for you to do whatever you want. If you want to go to the gym and not make friends and just be in the corner, that's fine. But also, there's so much value. Like, like me, I had no intentions. I didn't want to, right? I had plenty of friends. Like, I don't need any more people in my life. Right? But it added so much value. Like, just fist pounding people, like, dude, you gave a good effort in that. That was incredible.
It's funny,
right?
how
And that's
good
how
that
me and
feels,
Justin
right?
have really
Yeah.
connected, is because he is fast and I'm always trying to keep up with him. And he's in his 50s. I'm like, dude, I want to be like you when I grow up, right? Like, I just look up to him so much, and it's just connected us.
Yeah.
And then you just get one more fist pound, and all of a sudden you walk into the gym and everyone's saying hi, and you're like, what is this, a high school reunion?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild in my job that I know 200 people on a first name basis. Like, I could rattle off, you put them all in a room, I'd line them all up. I could say it every single time. And it's wild for me too, where like a lot of people would probably never guess, but like, I'm very introverted. Like, I don't go out. Like, even in my 20s, like, you'd rarely ever catch me at a party. Like, in the past, I even technically, like, I was diagnosed with social anxiety disorder. But in the gym environment, it's something that I'm used to. I'm comfortable. Everybody is positive and encouraging, to the point where like I run classes. Like, I'm the manager, I'm the leader of this place, to where it's like I've gotten all these friends from it, right? And then I've also gotten like the purpose of what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it just creates like such a good environment that, like, dude, I couldn't public speak for anything. Like, there's like, tell me I would be on a podcast, no shot. Like, in college, you're making me do a public or like a presentation, zero chance I was doing that, right? But like, CrossFit kind of taught me too. Like, at the beginning, when I would see a workout, again, back to like the cardio one, I'd be like, it's about like beating those negative voices in your head too. Like, I would see it, I was like, no shot. Coach would help me, I would do it, I'm a little more confident.
Yeah.
Maybe I could coach this thing. Get shadowed coaching classes, slowly do a briefing, get a little better. Maybe I fumble a bit, just like I fumbled in a workout, but it's all right. Like, it, again, like, between the ears, the value is like the people who show up to the 5 a.m. class, probably the best dad in the community, probably the best person at their job. Like, there's no coincidence that, like, when you start to see where the work pays off, it leaks into other areas of your life, especially
the
like,
more successful you become in the morning routine, the more
starts
successful
everything
you
off
are at the rest of the day.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I want to cover this last conversation as we wrap up here. People get injured, right? What's our go-to? Like, how do we, PTs, trainers, coaches, how do we work together? What are your best tips here?
Yeah. So, I mean, what I would say, first of all, when I'm working with people, is I'm humble enough to know that I don't know everything. So if there's, like, the body is complex. I am a personal trainer. I am not a physical therapist. I won't pretend to be. So what I'm always asking people is very basic questions. Like, when somebody has something that's not feeling great, I'll ask questions like, is it pain or is it discomfort? And what I try to say is like, okay, if something's a little bit uncomfortable, let's try to work with it. Let's work around it. Let's change this workout so we don't make something worse. If something is painful, that's red light. That's done. We're changing it. Like, I don't care that the workout says squats. If your knee is painful, my goal is to make you more capable tomorrow, not less. And so we're going to go ahead and change that. And then I'm going to give you Brad's card, right? So he can go talk to you and try to get this figured out.
Yeah. And there's what I love when trainers do is, let's see if we can do this together first. And what you're saying is determine, is this an injury that needs to be treated with professional advice, or is this something that you just tweaked that's going to go away?
Gauging that a bit.
And I love when trainers will just ride with it for a week, maybe 2, and track it. It's like, is it getting better?
Yeah.
And if it's not, we know where to send you. But let's do it our best to manage it here. Because thing is, we don't want our offices filled with these people that have tweaks. Although, we can help them, right? But we can manage that in the gym, right? You probably just stepped off a curb wrong or slept on your shoulder wrong. And let's just see if it feels better as you do these things. Because movement is medicine, right? You start moving it around, all of a sudden lotion and, blood flow and synovial fluid, all that, it starts feeling better, right? But the biggest thing that we don't want is an injury that's going to lead you to take you away from the gym. Right. And one of the biggest things that we do in our practice is making sure people stay in the gym through an injury. Right. Tell us how you've seen that make a difference for the athletes you've worked with.
Yeah. I mean, I can picture one athlete, maybe I'll leave him nameless, but we were doing a movement. It was a movement we hadn't done a whole lot, and she ended up just, something happened to her shoulder. From that, every day, now that I know that, I ask her that question, pain or discomfort. It's a little uncomfortable, then it kind of moves from pain and we're tracking in on it, right? It's not going away. We're a week later. We've been modifying things. I always ask questions like, okay, is it in this range of motion? Is it in this range of motion? What are we dealing with? How can I change it? Eventually, it's not going away. So I think she maybe had connections with you guys already, but I was like, you should definitely go. Then from there, it's been so good to still see her every day. And the thing is, there's plenty of other things to progress. And a good coach can take the workout and, like I said, dissect it to where, like, for her, it was mostly overhead movements were a no-go. So then I can take a clean, or I can take a snatch with a dumbbell where you get overhead, and I can turn it into a clean. Okay, well, we take that out of the equation, right? But we can still get, what can we still get out of it? Well, it's still explosive. It's still the idea of the workout,
so many people
or vice
even
versa.
think,
Like,
oh, you get shoulder surgery, I can't go to the gym for a while. There's so much you can do.
So many things. And
right?
you can always look at the silver lining of, like, looks like your legs are going to get jacked because I got some options for it. You know what I mean? Like,
so many things
and the
you
thing
can
is
do.
too, like, when we're talking about habits, the number one thing that I do not want to happen is for you to start to build the habit of you're not going to the gym anymore.
That's
Even
the
if,
hardest
like,
one to create.
and that's like between the years, right? Where, like, I also had somebody else at the gym. I can think of so many people lately that they had a shoulder surgery. They were coming back. The biggest thing that I told them was like, hey, your membership, don't worry about it. I know you just had to pay for all this surgery. You're fine. But what I want is I want you here. So I want you here to still connect with your friends and to do your physical therapy, because I know you and you know you. If you're assigned to do this at home, you're not doing it. And so I want you to come in at 9:30 and I want you to do your PT off to the side. You're going to see your friends. I'm going to check in and see that you're going from that small 1 pound dumbbell to the 2 pound or whatever it is. Like, check in, ask what are they supposed to have you doing?
Yeah.
And then eventually now that person is back into class. And, like, they told me how much that mattered to them, because they were like, you're right, I wouldn't have done it. Like, how many people get their sheet of the PT exercises they're supposed to do and obviously don't do them.
Yeah.
Right. So it was like, for him, it was pretty significant. There were a lot of things that
and
he
the more
couldn't
we integrate it into ways like this, the more likely they are to do it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And they understand why they're doing it. They understand how they're going to get back to their activities. So crucial.
Yeah, and he's back now. Like, we're taking everything super easy, but it was like I said, it was so cool to hear him say, like, how important it was. Like, I think he had a plan that was on board with him moving, but we just had to, again, keep him in the doors, because especially, like, the first 90 days are the most important part of somebody working out. So if we look at starting at the beginning of the year, 90 days into that, that's when a habit becomes real or not, is in those 90 days. So if you, like, injuries are also a part of life. Like, I can be the best trainer in the world. Stuff can happen. Now, when something like that happens, how do we create a plan that keeps your momentum going? Again, if we compare the guy doing half a set of bicep curls, he kept his momentum going. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was so small.
Yeah.
But,
and the thing is, with these injuries, I could think of, I think four athletes that we work with at your gym right now. And all of them, we set parameters with them. It's like, but we focus on what you can do. It's like, because they want to say, well, what can't I do? Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's build a list of what you can do, because where you focus on is going to grow. Yeah. Right. So I don't want you to focus on the limitation. I want you to focus on all the things that you're able to do.
Same thing with coaching. If you try to coach somebody and don't do that, is hard. No, just do this. Like,
try it. Yeah. Right.
Focus on this.
The biggest parameters I give people through injury is don't go into pain. Yeah. Right. If it hurts, back off.
It's a signal. Your body has it for a reason.
We help them identify, is it actual pain or is it discomfort? Yeah. And depending on the tendon, or if it's a muscle or ligament, they load differently. So we'll give different parameters. Sometimes we want people to work into a 3 out of 10 pain. It's like, we need to actually stay there. You got some jumper's knee. Yeah, we need to actually work into painful ranges and stay there with maybe isometrics or whatever it is. But there's certain parameters we give people, and they do extremely well. Some of these athletes are some of the fastest progressing. We don't have to see them as much, like, because they understand their bodies, they understand the parameters. Yeah. They're staying in the gym, getting blood flow consistently. They're loading their bodies. They progress faster than anyone else, right? The hardest ones, though, are the ones that get compounding injuries. What advice do you have for these guys? They're just like, that shoulder's been bugging me for years, and my elbow. Like, they just got 3 or 4 injuries on top of themselves. What advice do you have for these guys?
Well, I guess it's, like you said, it's compounding. So it's not addressing a problem that gets worse, that then leads into another imbalance that gets worse, that leads into something XYZ down the road. And I think kind of comes into, like, there's some magic with CrossFit that can also get why it gets a bad rap, and I can address, like, if it's done really well, it's amazing. If you don't listen to a coach, it cannot be the best thing for you. And what I mean is, CrossFit, there is always a prescribed version of the workout, right?
Yep.
This is the prescribed weight. These are the prescribed movements. Go there with your friends. There's even a leaderboard. We put them on an app, right? You get to see my score versus my buddy's score. The positive environment can be good peer pressure to, like, get you to work. You know, your friend Justin, work a little bit harder, whatever it is. But I always have to, it's usually like more competitive guys, but girls too. Like, sometimes you just got to check the leaderboard off to the side. Like, don't let that become, that's supposed to be a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've scaled plenty of workouts because the day before I was playing flag football, my knee is not feeling great. And as much as I love my buddy that I want to compete against, stay in your own lane. Be able to, and like most CrossFit gyms, a lot of them will have signs that say, like, check your ego at the door. Because it's like, again, part of the magic is that it can be a healthy competitive environment that's really you versus you. And that's not to say, like,
well, I love that.
Yeah,
say
like
that again.
It's just you versus you, which is one of
we
those.
all had that mentality.
It's one of those, like, fitness things
Whether
that
you're in
everybody
CrossFit,
says. But
burn boot camp, like whatever workout routine you're doing, don't focus on what everyone else is doing. Like that, it should be a positive aspect. But if it has a negative effect on you, and you feel like you have to push beyond what you're capable, just focus on you. Like, it was you versus you yesterday.
That was the key point I was going to say, is like, not you versus when you were playing high school football back in the day. Yeah. Like, all right. And then also the caveat of a couple days ago, you had a good knee. You know what I mean? What happened in these last few days? And so that's something that I deal with a lot of the time, is like taking the people who I know don't have the best mobility, that are going to try a movement that's going to put them in a vulnerable position, and having that conversation with them of, like, the leaderboard is meant to be positive. The thing that you heard me say earlier that I'll say again is, my goal is to make you more capable, not less. If from the next couple days you can do less than what you did, I didn't quite do my job, or I did and you didn't listen. Which one of those things is it? So I guess keeping what's on the board as a positive thing, and not letting it become the absolute opposite of what it's supposed to be.
I work obviously with injuries a lot, and I've talked about this on the podcast before. I graduated PT school and I had so many injuries. Everything hurt. My joints, my knees, my hips, my wrists. I had broken over 30 bones and had significant injuries through my life. And I graduated school and I just thought, I am such a hypocrite. I'm supposed to be helping people through their injuries, but I got all these myself. And I think I had like 6 injuries that I literally spent an entire year of just getting through them.
Yeah.
And I don't have any pain anymore, and I've had significant injuries. Almost had my leg amputated.
Oh my gosh.
Had handlebars through my sides, cut off fingers, right? Like,
that's crazy.
I've had some significant injuries over the years, and I literally operate with no pain at all. So what I would say to these people that have compounding injuries is just find a provider or find a team that's going to help you through them, right? Just because you have an injury or compounding injuries doesn't mean you have to be there forever. Yeah. Most of the time, you just got to unravel it. You've raveled it up. Now we just got to back it up. And it might take time. You might take a lot of commitment from you. But if you'll stick with it and find a right provider or team that's going to help you, you're just going to work through one injury and then the next. And most of the time, they're going to compound. It's like, well, you get the shoulder better. Now the elbow's feeling better. Right. Then the wrist is feeling better. Right. Yeah. And it's just kind of this downstream effect. Same thing with the hip and knee and ankle. Right. And so I guess is what I'd really say to these people is just find a team that's going to help you and believe. Just believe that you can lift weights and do whatever exercise and be out of pain, because that world does exist. And it's beautiful when you get there. I remember I thought I'd be in pain the rest of my life. Everyone told me, you got all this arthritis, you've broken all these bones, you're going to be in pain for your life, right? I live in a different world now, you know, and I'm a huge believer that the majority of people should operate their entire life without pain. That doesn't mean you don't get injured, right? Because if you're pushing yourself, you will get injured, right? It's just inevitable. Right. It's either that or you get diabetes and heart conditions.
Yeah.
You know
I mean, rather get injured, though, doing something that's going to make me more capable, than it's real tough when you injure yourself from trying to pick up the laundry bin.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
and I know a lot of people.
The most risky thing you can do is nothing down the road eventually.
I had a friend that fought me for years on, he's like, why would you ever do cleans? That's so dumb. You're going to hurt yourself. I'm like, I'm going to hurt myself not doing those things. I'm building resilience. I'm building my body. And guess what he's doing today? He's doing cleans.
Oh, nice.
He's doing deadlifts. He's lifting
Got him a
super
little
heavy,
bit.
and he's hooked on it. He's doing such a freaking good job. So proud of him. He texted me the other day. He's like, dude, I'm doing it.
Nice.
Right? And I'm building a life of resilience and all of that. So any last tips on getting back to the gym, avoiding injury, staying in the gym long term? Anything else you'd add?
I guess like just when you were talking, things that came to mind. So finding, I think the main point is like, again, a team. So like, obviously I'm biased to me and you, right? But people can go to other PTs or other places to train, but finding somebody that's on the same page. So obviously a PT that wants you to continue to work out, and a CrossFit gym that wants you to take care of your injuries. You know what I mean? Like if I prescribe somebody, like your goal is to keep them in the gym, somebody might have to go get a surgery to where like they might have to take some time off. Our goal is not for that to happen, but I want people's well-being so much that I will prescribe them to a place that I know is going to take care of them, and making sure that like, the key thing is they're on the same page, and making sure both of those places have like I said, a growth mindset in the sense of like, my goal when I work with people is to get you to a point where you understand fitness so well because of our conversations and our workouts, to where if you move or if you decided to not go to the gym, you're not coming to me because you have to. You're coming to me because you like it and you want to. But you understand how to strength train, you understand cardio, you understand all these things, so we can get you like, if you, again, your fitness is back in your hands. And like, I know your philosophy as well is like to actually fix these injuries. So that way, when they come, if there's anything else that comes back up, they'll come back to you when you need it. I think a red flag is when you find like a trainer or a physical therapist or a chiropractor or anything that like, their plan is indefinite because they care more about their bottom line than you. They're like, I want to keep coming forever and ever and ever. Like some sort of like, how is there a plan to get you to where you don't need me, but next time something comes up, you trust me? And I'm always like the frame of that. So team that's on the same page.
Absolutely.
And then just looking for somebody like who is a good person that genuinely wants your well-being, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you included those thoughts because ultimately, all of our jobs is to get you to be independent with your fitness.
Yeah.
Is to teach, to educate, to get you to be autonomous, to not rely upon the things that we do, right? Because we know we're not going to be here for everything in your life, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to PT, you're going to Chiro, or you're going in these places and you feel like you're in there indefinitely, it might be time to find someone else, right?
Yeah.
Because there's such a better way. And you should know why you're doing things. You should know how to do them on your own eventually, right? And be mastering these movements, perfecting the movements, and then maybe teaching other people too.
Yeah.
But these are all great tips.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, man.
Thank you for joining us today, Elijah. Pleasure to have you on the podcast. Such great tips on returning back to the gym. And just remember, just start small. Start with those little habits, build habit upon habit, and you will build a life of sustainability.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for giving me a platform to talk about what I'm passionate about. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.